Well, celebrity chef Paula Deen has now lost or is in danger of losing several lucrative business relationships after news surfaced that she admitted in a deposition that she used the N-word almost 3 decades ago, among other questionable behavior. Several companies, including the Food Network and Smithfield Hams, have now dumped Deen. Others, like Sears and QVC, are considering doing the same, reportedly. But there is a question about whether the punishment meets the crime here. It's a question the ladies of The View took up yesterday.
Her body of work, does that negate when this flaw was exposed?
Nostalgia for that way of life, I think you can't really in 2013
have nostalgia,
for slavery.
She has the sensitivity of a toilet seat. Okay?
But that's the thing, it's what she's getting in trouble for, the insensitivity.
I don't care who says it. I don't care if they're a rapper or if they're Paula Deen. It's wrong. Oh, boom. And Food Network had to do it. I don't care how great Paula Deen is, but the Food Network had to do it because it sends a wrong message.
Joining me now for a fair and balanced debate, David Webb. He's the host of the David Webb Show on Sirius XM Patriot, and Leslie Marshall, who's a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. And now you've seen people come out on all sides. I mean, of all people, she has united Glenn Beck and Bill Maher, both of whom have come out to say enough with the word policing, especially for somebody who didn't make these comments publicly and who made them years and years ago. I mean, you know, what she admitted to was 1986, David, although there were other incidents where she seemed to be downplaying the use of, for example, the N-word if it was used in a, quote, joke as opposed to a serious manner. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, let's face it, and by the way, keep canceling Paula Deen because a lot of the food she cooks, eaten by black people, kind of a typical thing in these restaurants. So she says the N-word 30 years ago. She uses it whether in an offhanded comment or whatever way, and we're going to draw any kind of equivalency to, say, Nas, a rapper, who in somewhat of a satirical song uses it 29 times. We have a problem here when we start word policing everything everyone does, but then claim free speech, if you will, in the performance space, Megan. She said something stupid. It's not the focus of the case. They're focusing on the word. And one of my concerns, if you will, is when race huckster, and that's what he is involved in this with the Rainbow Push Coalition, Jesse Jackson. When he's involved in this and they're going out and bringing out all these other things, it's about driving this so-called racist narrative instead of just dealing with the issue.
Well, and he's somebody who's used a very derogatory term to refer to Jews in the past. Reverend Al Sharpton has gone a different way. He also has made controversial statements in the past, but he's getting behind Paula Deen, Leslie, saying, look, you know, she said it was a long time ago. She apologized for it. It's a strange place to be where this isn't like sort of, well, for example, Bill Maher, who goes out on a program and says these things very publicly at a microphone, and maybe that's a distinction without a difference. But she said it years and years ago in private, and then the reason we know she said it is because she admitted to it when she was asked under oath. I mean, she could have lied about it, but she told the truth, and now she's losing everything.
Well, I know that I'm a white chick. I think you guys have noticed that. But when I was a little girl,
white and yellow today.
Yes, my neighbor, actually, who had moved up from South Carolina to a suburb of Boston where I grew up, called me an N-lover. Never heard the word before, asked my mother what it meant. She took soap, put it in my mouth, and washed it out. And my mom says to tell Paula Deen she still has the soap. The problem is not just the word. The problem is the allegation of use of separate bathrooms for African-American versus, or people of color versus whites, the Southern plantation, the way things used to be, the N-word, and then blaming it on her, quote, Southern upbringing. I find the word offensive. I have been clearly told by my African-American friends that it's okay for black people to use it with one another. But it's very offensive when it comes from a white person, and it's the intent, and that's the problem here, is the intention. I think that when you are a public personality, you're going to have cameras on you, and you're responsible for everything you say, and
but
that includes in your
86
private
was pre-public life for Paula Deen, I think. I mean, I think she was a private person at the time. Not that that makes it okay, but she's apologized for it. I mean, this isn't like she's standing by it like it was all fine. She's come out and said this is wrong. I do want to be careful, though, because I don't want to conflate the allegations in what many have described as a questionable civil lawsuit against her by a white employee who's alleging she and her brother are racist and have said some racist things or done something like the separate bathrooms, with what Paula Deen acknowledged herself is true. They deny those allegations, but she did admit the use of the N-word and she wanted some plantation-style wedding or events, and that's also problematic, David.
Well, is it really problematic? Okay, so if I decide to have a wedding where I'm going to have all black servers, I guess that's either affirmative action or it's a theme wedding. She made a comment as alleged, and then they said, no, this is a bad idea. Well, that alone shows that she's concerned about whether it's perceived as racist or not, if you look at it for what it is. And by the way, whether you have a black rapper from Brooklyn, New York, or blacks in the South, and I've lived in the South, traveled extensively in the South, who use the N-word, the fact is we've got to get past being the word police. Either we have a First Amendment and equal treatment and equal application, or we do not. And what we have here is it's hypocrisy. And why is this such a big story? Haven't we got so much else going on in America?
Because she's heading up towards Oprah-type fame. I mean, she's getting a lot of power. She has a lot of power, a lot of success, so she's become a target.
So
the
take it away from her because of a word 30 years ago, that's unequal application in my
Well, that's
view.
the thing, Leslie. I mean, she's losing a lot. She's losing a lot. I mean, if she's already lost Smithfield, she already lost Food Network, she could lose QVC, she could lose Sears. They're all reviewing. I mean, how much should she lose for all of this?
Well, I'm not a celebrity, and if I said that word on radio or television, I would be gone, contract ripped up on either, no question.
What if you came out and said, I said it 30
choice.
years ago? What if you came out and said, I admit to saying it 30 years ago, and I'm very sorry for doing that?
Well, you know what? If I were at her level, people have a choice. The people that employ her, the people that carry her, or networks that have her on and sell her products, and also the people that buy them. The people have a choice. She's made a lot of money off of all types of people from our lovely diverse nation of all colors. And to me, an apology is only good when somebody is not just remorseful, but changes their behavior. Can that mindset or what is set in her heart perhaps be changed? I don't know.
Well, why do we apply a different standard to celebrities than any other person? Leslie, you were just asked, what if you said it 30 years ago? You happen to be a public figure, maybe not a Paula Deen, but why is she more responsible for a word than you or than me? She's not. And what it comes down to is, does the punishment fit the crime? In this case, it doesn't. It doesn't fit an utterance 30 years ago when we have a pervasive use by all ethnicities, by both genders today of the N-word, and we have offensive use as well as, quote, artistic use.
Well, it does seem like there's a different standard, and maybe there should be. I mean, I'll leave that to the viewers to decide. When you use it and you're a rapper, you are a person of color, I mean, is there
But are there women who are offended by the use of that and other words by rappers? Why don't they have a say on this?
Yeah. And the N-word seems to be a line that is, in a different place than a lot of other slurs for many reasons.
Absolutely.
In any event, panel, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Coming up, investigative report.